I'm Luke Christensen. I'm working at the World Bank in the Chief Economist Office of the Africa region. And about 18 months ago, we launched a project on agriculture in Africa, telling facts from myths. What drove us to this project? Basically, since the World Food Price crisis in 2007 to 2008, arguably the landscape within which agriculture operates today has dramatically changed. And thus the question arises, what is the state of the lay of the land, what is the state of agriculture today, and whether what we think about rural livelihoods and the livelihoods of the farmers is still what it is today. What we do in this project is we look at a number of salient issues or number of descriptions, what we call conventional wisdoms about African agriculture, about livelihoods of farmers in Africa, and throw it at the data. Do the data confirm or rebut or fine-tune our current thinking about what the lay of the land looks like?
First, I would like to introduce the database. It's a very comprehensive database covering 6 sub-Saharan African countries. For our research, we look specifically on the section on non-farm entrepreneurship, and this section contains various variables of interest, among others the type of business, time and operation, the month and year of business start, the owner and its individual characteristics, the number of employees, the business location, clients, profit, costs, and so on. We also look at the contribution of the non-farm enterprises to household income, and in different countries we find different contributions. For example, in Malawi it only contributes with 10% to the household income, but it can go up to over 35% in the case of Niger. As a next step in our paper, we look at the determinants of non-farm entrepreneurship in rural Africa, meaning that we look at the differences between households that operate non-farm enterprises to those that do not operate. And we find 2 types of factors, and we separate them into push and to pull factors. So push factors force households into non-farm entrepreneurship, for example, a food shortage or an external shock. Also the household size, meaning that families with a lot of members have surplus labor to allocate. On the other hand, we have pull factors, meaning that households find attractive opportunities to start a business, and factors in rural Africa are, for example, education, so the ability to read and write, access to credit, and also household wealth.
What we call the rural non-farm enterprise sector in Africa is that if one travels through Africa, rural areas, one will find thousands of small businesses, entrepreneurs providing all kinds of services, from car washes to haircuts to IT services, printing, fax machines, etc. So there's really a huge amount of activity going on. And policymakers are very interested in whether this rural non-farm enterprise sector can actually create enough jobs. So what's the policy implications of the work and of the findings that Paula shared with you before? Well, it's twofold. On the one hand, one has to avoid the negativities or the bad things in the rural areas, and on the second part, strengthen the good things that are there, to put it really very simply. And these are the 2 components of policy. If we need to develop and create rural jobs and quality rural jobs, we need to focus both on improving the business climate in rural areas and building on the positive implications of urbanization, but managing the urbanization and labor markets in urban areas much better, so that in fact all these benefits of clustering can be obtained. Please visit the website, look at the data set, send us your comments if you have any comments and questions, and yes, watch the space for more results and for more findings.